Metagross Freak here with Transformers Power of the Primes. Wave 1 of the Prime Master sets. On the left, Micronus Prime, aka the Prime of Minicons, whose power is Power Swap, wearing a Cloudburst Decoy Armor. In the middle, we have Liege Maximo, the kind of the Loki of the primes. His power is Trickster, wearing Skull Grin Decoy Armor. And on the far right we have Vector Prime, basically the time traveler of the primes, wearing the Metal Hawk Decoy Armor. It is worth mentioning that Micronus and Vector Prime are labeled as Autobots, and Liege Maximo is labeled as a Decepticon, not because they actually are, but because that is the faction of their decoy armors. As you can see here, we have Metal Hawk listed as an Autobot, Cloudburst listed as an Autobot, and Skullgrin also listed as a Decepticon. I'm doing all three of these at once because they are, for the most part, all the same thing. I'm just going to go over their differences really quickly. Here are the three Prime Masters we have, of course, once again, Micronus, Vector Prime, and Liege Maximo, and they're basically just slightly more detailed Prime Masters. You can see the belly button screw is gone, and we have a little bolt, and now their faces are painted. So we have a little Liege Maximo in kind of a violet and gray. I know it can be a little hard to see some of the detail because of my camera, but he folds up just like a Titan Master does to get a Prime Master symbol, and his kind of looks a little bit, reminds me of like a hawk, or like a hawk or a star. We have Vector Prime in blue and dark gray with a little silver face, and his icon is a little star constellation, kind of pulse. I like that. And of course we have Micronus in red and dark gray with a little dab of blue for his face. And his is kind of a little cyclops, but also he has like a little cyclops eye, but also a double-headed axe. So these decoy armors have a couple different modes. When they're in their Prime Master forms, you can, of course, you have a little decoy armor. You can take the armor and flip the weapon up. Of course, then you can come around to the back of the feet, flip the weapon handle down, and this is a 5mm peg that can be held by your Deluxe classes and your Voyager classes and your Leader classes, and you can simply take your Prime Master and plug it in like you would normally plug in a Titan Master on the back for the weapon mode, like this. I've seen a couple people actually say flipping the arms up on the robot can help give it a little bit kind of like a targeting reticle. I don't really like the look of that too much, but you can do that. Or if you want, you can always just have your Prime Master sitting down like so, to have them riding it like a little weapon, like a little weapon cart thing, like a number of the different Titans Returns characters had. I kind of like the look of that. The other main thing, of course, this is Decoy Armor, is it can be used as a suit of armor, obviously, and you'll see for what's his name, Cloudburst, his Autobot symbol is this tiny little speck of white. It doesn't even show up that well on camera. It's that little speck of white right on top of the helmet. I actually missed it the first couple times I was looking. But yeah, you just open these up, throw a Prime Master or Titan Master, whichever you prefer, of your choice in, and close it up, and their little face kind of shows through. It is kind of hard to see Micronus, but it could just be the position I had his head in makes him hard to see. But yeah, and they can be a little difficult to get out, but you kind of have to find a way to grab them and pull them out. I would probably recommend trying to get some friction on the shoulders, though if you need a little tool for wedging, you can do that too. You can always just try to pop them out like that. There is Cloudburst, and all the Prime Masters have the same articulation. Their arms just move 360, though in this case his is blocked by his double barrel cannon. All other weapons can also pop out. It's just a soft hinge, a soft friction hinge that can pop out. And there are, I believe that's a 2mm handle, so they can all, of course, wield their weapons as well. So we have Cloudburst with his double barrel cannon and Micronus inside. Here we have Metalhawk, who of course has this cool cannon, as opposed to the double barrel blaster. He has just this big cannon barrel, and of course he is host to Vector Prime. And I gotta say, these Decoy Armors are all really nice homages to the original Gen 1 Pretenders. I wasn't sure when they were first announced how I would feel about them, but having them in my hand, they feel really good. I think they're a little overpriced considering they cost about as much as a Legends class, but I think overall they're worth the price if you're a big fan of the Primes, and if you're a fan of the old Pretenders. You can see, there we go, there's Metalhawk, and there's Vector Prime's face right in there. Look, he's so cute with his cannon. And then last but not least, we have Liege Maximo. And Liege Maximo, his color scheme is accurate to the original Grin robot, the robot originally inside. So that's kind of cool. That's a nice little homage there. There he pops inside. Close that up. And then, just like before, we have this little claw weapon. I'm going to make this be in his left hand. There we go. Yeah, so we have, wow. So we have, just to kind of review, Micronus inside Cloudburst with a double barrel blaster. Vector Prime inside Metalhawk with a BFG. And Liege Maximo inside Grin with a giant Rake of Doom. And obviously with the Prime Masters, just like before, you can put the Prime Masters in the various different suits of armor, or not necessarily the suits of armor, but you can put the Prime Masters inside any vehicle suited for Titan Masters. They can technically be used as heads, but because they don't have faces, it may come off as a little bizarre, to say the least. So, for example, we have right now Cloudburst in weapon mode, and we have Vector Prime in his Prime Master mode. If I bring over Dinobot Slash, you can see that technically he can fit in like that, but you might want to have him sitting, actually. That was my fault for not putting him in a seated position. There, you can have him sitting like that for weapon mode. Technically, her hands could hold this weapon, but, I mean, why would you want to? She's so tiny. Literally, this gun is as long as she is. But obviously with a deluxe class, we can switch out weapons, and we can put the Prime Masters in the Prime Armor. For example, here I have Vector Prime in the Prime Armor here. In this case, it's a Prime Armor hand as opposed to the Prime Armor foot. You can see that looks really good. Time cop. And then, of course, we can switch out his normal pistol for the Cloudburst pistol. So there we go. There we go. We can have Jazz with time manipulation and a BFG. That's kind of fun. Just as an example there. So this has been Wave 1 of the Power of the Primes Titan Masters, once again covering Micronus, aka Cloudburst, Liege Maximo, aka Grin, and Vector Prime, aka Metalhawk. I hope this has been a good comprehensive view of the first wave, and I look forward to showing you later waves when they come out and I get a hand on them. Until next time, I've been Micronus Freak, and stay awesome. Bye!